Hello, and welcome to this short practice. Our focus today is a few poses that will help you to prepare to sit in meditation more comfortably. So, I would recommend if you're someone who wants to get into meditation or you're into meditation and you have trouble sitting upright for that long, this is a good practice to return to over and over again. I'm going to include some stretches that will make it more comfortable now. And I'll also include a couple of moves in here that are helpful for the long term for just overall improving your postural muscles. You may wish to have two blocks for our practice, optional. If you don't have blocks, maybe piles of books would work as an alternative. Let's start lying down. And we'll get started right away here. We'll take a pretty direct line. So let's hug both knees into the chest and widen your knees out towards your underarms for something called happy baby. Now I want you to flex your feet and stack your ankles over your knees. Grab the outer edges of your feet and then wrap your elbows into your inner shins and lightly press down to work your knees closer to the floor. And if it's tough to grab the feet, you're also welcome to grab your hamstrings or grip your ankles instead. Now, I want you to notice if your entire butt is lifting off of the mat. Another way to note that is if you feel a lot of pressure in your lower back. And if that's the case, I want you to see if you can try to lengthen your tailbone towards the floor so that hopefully you feel the natural curves in your lumbar spine return. Good. And then let your feet go. Now put your feet on the ground and bring the soles of your feet together and your knees out into a diamond shape. Now, if this feels really intense already, do feel free to stay here just stretching out the inseam. Otherwise, you're welcome to join me and lift your feet up, keep your feet connected, and maybe see if you can reach the tops of your feet with your hands. And then gently pull your big toes in towards the center of your chest. Don't worry if they don't even really come into the same zip code, that's fine. And again, just like we did earlier, can you lengthen your tailbone down so that you're not feeling a lot of pressure on your lower back? So just kind of working to balance out your spinal curves and really keep the natural curves in your spine. It's a really good way to prepare to meditate. Now let your feet go. Place your feet on the ground. Hook your right ankle over your left thigh in a figure four. Try to line this up so the sole of your foot is flush with the outseam of your thigh. Flex your right foot. And then lift your left leg up and see if you can hold on to the back of your left thigh with both hands. And if that feels like too much, keep your left foot on the ground and just work the right knee away. And so as you draw your left thigh closer, can you feel how your right inner knee is moving away from your chest? So you're getting more external rotation in the hip. Same thing here. Can you keep the natural curves in your spine so that it's a pure hip stretch and it's not getting pushed up into the back? And nice and easy, just switch. Unhook your ankle, bring your left ankle over your right thigh in a four, flex your foot, lift your right leg up, hold on to the back of your thigh if you can. If not, no worries, just put your right foot down and work the left knee away. You want to make sure your left foot is flexed so that you're not pushing the stretch into the knee or the ankle, just the hip. And take a steady breath in. And with your exhale, let go of your leg, unhook your ankle, and roll to your side. And use your top hand to bring yourself up to your seat. And we'll come right onto all fours. All right, so go ahead and take your knees wide and your big toes together. And we're going to go back and forth from this kind of wide tabletop into child's pose. So as you exhale, I want you to push your hips back towards your heels. Arms are stretching overhead. And with your inhale, you're going to rock forwards and find this neutral wide knee tabletop. And then again, exhale, push your hips back, working hip and knee flexion. Inhale, come forwards onto all fours. And just a couple more. Exhale, push the hips back. Inhale, come forwards. Try to keep your back pretty neutral. Two more. Exhale, hips back. Inhale, all fours. Last one. Exhale, hips back. Inhale, all fours. Now bring your knees in so that your knees are hips width, shins parallel. Push the floor away from you and stretch your right leg straight back behind you. And then try to lift your right leg up from the inner thigh. Draw your low belly in and stretch your left arm straight forwards, pinky side of the hand facing down. Take a steady breath in. With your exhale, hug your elbow and knee together, round your spine. And then inhale, reach your arm and leg out. And again, exhale, hug it in, connecting breath and movement. Inhale to extend. One more time, exhale, hug your midline. Inhale to reach. Lower your hand, lower your knee, and slip your left leg straight back behind you. Then see if you can lift your left leg up from the inner thigh and stretch your right arm forwards. Low belly in, hold your middle, take a breath in. With your exhale, hug your elbow and knee together. Inhale, get really, really long. Again, exhale, hug it in, round your spine. And inhale, get long. One more time, exhale, hug it in. Inhale, reach. Now lower your hand, lower your knee, planting your hands down, shoulders width apart. Step briefly back into plank. And I just like to do this because it's a good way to get the length of your down dog. So lift your hips up and back. Plank is the same length as your down dog for most of us. So push the floor away from you, wrap your outer upper arms away from each other, but then feel like you're trying to wrinkle the mat in between your thumbs. So like you're trying to drag your thumbs together. And then push so vigorously into your hands that it really does feel like your legs are taking most of the weight. Maybe bike your legs out a little bit, stretching out the backs of the legs. With your next inhale, look forwards at your hands. Walk your feet up to meet your hands. Now take your feet hips width and parallel, maybe even a little bit wider, and then generous bend in the knees, enough that you can rest your belly on or in between your thighs. And just let your head drop. Maybe shake your head no and yes. And then with your next inhale, bring your hands to your shins and come up halfway. Now I want you to really feel your alignment here. So low belly is hugging in. You're rolling your shoulder heads back. So try to make your chest extra broad here. And then bring your hands behind your head. And if you feel this in your hamstrings, bend your knees and keep them bent. And then exhale, I want you to push yourself all the way up. But then as you inhale, you're actually going to go right back down. So send your hips slightly back and come parallel to the floor with your chest. And then again, lift yourself back up. Exhale. And inhale, come about halfway down. And see if you can do this without rocking your hips forwards and back. On an exhale, you lift back up. On an inhale, you come halfway down and you hold. Elbows straight side for 3. Keep sending outer hips slightly back, inner thighs back 2. And then bring your hands to your hips and this time stand all the way up. And so one thing that I think is important to note is that for sitting on the ground upright, you really do need to strengthen your postural muscles. So I think it's an important reminder that it does feel like lower back work sometimes. I think sometimes we think, oh no, I feel it in my lower back, I'm doing it wrong. But while you're working to strengthen the muscles that support your posture, it might feel like a little bit of soreness while you're moving towards getting stronger. So just FYI. All right, maybe grab your 2 blocks if you've got them, and you'll place them at the top of your mat. With your next inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Exhale, fold down over your legs. Now, inhale, come up halfway again. Put your hands on the blocks. Frame your right foot with the blocks and step your left foot back into a lunge. Feet in 2 lanes of traffic. Now try to keep your left leg straight, moving with the breath. Inhale, sink your hips, lift your chest. And exhale, straighten both legs and fold. If it feels good, you can flex your right toes up. And again, inhale, bend your right knee, sink your hips. Exhale, straighten your right leg and fold. And just one more of those. Inhale, right knee bends. Exhale, fold in. Now rebend your right knee. Nice and easy here. You're just going to step your left foot forwards and switch sides. Bring your right foot back. Same thing. So stay high on the ball of your right foot. Right leg stays straight. Inhale, sink your hips, lift your chest. Exhale, straighten your legs and fold. Maybe flex the left toes up. And again, inhale, left knee bends, little tiny back bend. Exhale, straighten your legs. One more time. Inhale, bend your left knee. And exhale, fold. Now this time, rebend your left knee. Step your right foot forwards. Move your blocks out of the way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. One more time, we'll step back and take down dog for just a couple of breaths. So this time, really feel the length in your spine. It's something in yoga that we call axial extension, which is kind of like just lengthening out the discs of your spine away from each other. Feel your inner thighs rolling towards each other and even slightly back. Next inhale, rock forwards into plank. Now you're welcome to do this with your knees down. On your exhale, bend your elbows straight back. Come all the way down onto your stomach. Now point your toes back and reach your arms back. And you can either hook your thumbs or interlace your hands. Bring your feet and legs all the way together or close to it. Press into the tops of your feet. Lift your head and chest. Roll your shoulder heads back. And then pull your knuckles up and back. Try to straighten your arms vigorously. And then maybe even add the legs. Lift your straight legs up. Roll your inner thighs up to the ceiling. Use your knuckles pulling up and back to lift your chest even higher. As you exhale, let your hands go and lie down. Turn your head to one side. Give your hips a quick little wiggle side. Now bring your head to center. Hook your thumbs or clasp your hands with the other thumb on top. Bring your feet and legs all the way together or close to it. Inhale, lift your head and chest. Roll your shoulder heads back, pull your knuckles up and then back towards your heels. Now lift your straight legs up, spread your toes, roll inner thighs higher than outer thighs. Pull your knuckles up and back. If it's easy to clasp your hands, I want you to even feel like you're trying to split your hands apart without succeeding. Big breath in. Exhale all the way down. Let your hands go, turn your head the other way, and wiggle your hips side. Now bring your hands down next to your chest. Curl your toes under. On an exhale, push yourself up into plank. And this time we're actually going to come into a squat. So you might want to grab a block. For some of us, it's helpful to have a block underneath the tailbone for this. I want you to turn your feet out. Make sure your heels are at least as wide as your hips, probably a lot wider. Heels in, toes out. Bend your knees, sink your hips, and squat. And so if it's tough for you to do this, you could do something under your heels. Again, it can be really helpful to put a block under the tailbone while you work deeper and deeper hip and knee flexion. Hands together in front of your heart. I want you to hug your outer arms with your inner knees and then push back out with your arms. I know this is not necessarily the most comfortable pose for a lot of us. This is a really, really helpful one to get more comfortable with for sitting for long periods of time. Just one more breath. Feel your lower back lengthening. And then we got a nice, easy transition here. If you have a block under your butt, move it first and sit down. Maybe use your hands. All right. Now cross your right shin in front of your left. Good. And then take your right hand to your left knee or thigh and your left fingertips behind your back. And with your inhale, lift your chest. And with your exhale, just a gentle twist to your left. So really connecting. Inhale, get taller. Exhale, find more depth. Starting to really marry breath, mind, and body in preparation for meditation. Come back to center and switch sides. Take your left hand to your right outer knee or thigh, right fingertips back. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, twist. And just a couple more breaths. Good. Use each inhale to really feel yourself get taller. Use the exhale to find more space to rotate your spine. Now come back to center, and I should note you might want to have blocks handy behind your hips for this next couple poses. You're going to inhale, lift, and lengthen. And just a brief couple breaths here, folding forwards as much as it makes sense for your body today. Walk your hands forwards, press your hips back. Feel the weight rocking forwards on your sitting bones. And then you're going to walk it back in. Now, I recommend having blocks under your hands, shoulders width, behind your hips. The height of the blocks will just depend on your height. Now, push into your hands, fingertips facing forwards. Try to lift your chest up. See if you can lift your butt up, and then try to send your knees towards the floor. It's fine if they don't touch, and reach your hips forwards and up as you straighten the arms. For 3, 2, and with your exhale, carefully lower your hips. We'll switch the cross of the shins. So take your left shin in front of your right. Now this time bring your left hand out to the left and inhale your right arm up and overhead to your left. If you want more, you can bend your left elbow. You might slightly spin the right side of your chest skywards. Keep your right sitting bone reaching towards the floor. It's fine if it lifted. Come all the way back up. Right hand to the floor on your right. Inhale your left arm up and overhead to the right. Maybe bend your right elbow, work that elbow down. Maybe spin the left chest open. Full breath in. And exhale it out. Inhale, come all the way back up. Just a couple breaths, lift your chest and fold forwards. And can you feel your spine staying neutral as you fold? And we'll come all the way up. Place your hands on your blocks behind you. Start to push into your hands, lift your chest. See if you can lift your hips. Send your knees towards the floor. Reach your hips up and towards the ceiling for 3, for 2, and then tuck your chin and sit your hips all the way down. All right, so if you are planning to meditate, this would be a great time to maybe grab your cushion and take a seated meditation. Thank you so much for joining me today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.